everyone, and welcome back to my channel. We're down here in my craft room where I just finished all of my work with my Etsy shop, making some charms and things like that. And I'm finally getting around to being able to clean up, and I thought maybe I'd film it and kind of show you my process in cleaning things up and offer a couple of tips on how to quickly be able to clean up your craft room and the things that I have in place that help me do that. So we're just looking at my main desk here, and then this is the floor where I had everything, all my beads and buttons kind of spread out because I could easily look at them. So now I'm going to kind of show you how I get everything cleaned up. So I sped this up a little bit just so it wouldn't last too long, but I just put away some bottle cap charms that I made for the shop. I have them all packaged and ready to go. And then I've got my Chromebook that I just keep in this cabinet here. And I'm finally getting to the floor and cleaning up all the little seed beads and everything here. I'm just keeping them in their little containers for now because I don't have a good spot for them. I figured these little tubes are pretty good to keep them in. And then I have all of my little safety pins that I keep in this, my little blossom holder. I love this thing. And I've got some more beads that I'm going to put away. And I've got that's a little vintage sewing box. I love that thing. It's perfect for the little seed beads. And I've got some more beads, and then I've got my little metal beads that I'm going to kind of throw in this little sewing box. And then I got my buttons I'm going to clean up. I got these cute jars that I keep all my colorful buttons in. The colors also give me some inspiration in my craft room. So I'm just kind of cleaning up this shelf a little bit, putting everything back. And then I just pop this underneath my desk. I have a lot of space under my desk, so I keep a lot of storage under there. And then on top of the main desk here, I'm just going to kind of clear everything off. I'm still going to be working on charms, so I'm going to leave some of this stuff out, but I just wanted to put my glass mat back. So I was filming some photos on top of the desk, so I had moved the mat. And now I'm just organizing my stickers that I use for my charms, just kind of getting those all into one little basket along with some other pieces that I use for the charms. Just kind of clearing away the tools, extra papers. Baskets are super helpful. I love I got like, I don't know how many of these baskets I got from the Dollar Tree, those mint green baskets, but I love them. I use a lot of them all over the craft room. So I just kind of have that as my little spot for my supplies for making the charms. So I keep that all in the little basket. And I'm just putting my small guillotine trimmer away. I keep that up on top of my papers. And I'm just kind of organizing the top of the desk, clearing off. These are some new stamp sets I got. When I get new stamp sets, I put them over here on this little 3-tiered shelf next to my desk. And then I also got a new adhesive that I just put underneath that shelf there that I keep like new adhesives. And I'm just kind of clearing off my desk. I've got all kinds of stuff that I just kind of pop into drawers, put into my little holders there. I'm just gathering up all of the garbage. I'm going to throw that away. There's another stamp set I found. This is my new Spellbinders embossing folder of the month. So I'm just going to take this out of its packaging. It's pretty big, so I just kind of store it in the back. I have my other one too. It's kind of easier just to store back there with my embossing folders. And then I've got some beads and charms that belong over on the other side. So I'm just going to add those to the containers I keep my charms in. I've got another little vintage sewing box that I keep charms in. So I'm just going to throw those down there. And then I got to empty my beads into this little container. I love keeping all my beads out, and just the color, again, just gives so much inspiration in the craft room. So I love looking at those. So I get those all put away, and now here's my clean craft room. So there's the main desk, and then here's my card making desk. Okay, now that everything's all cleaned up, just a couple of tips on how to keep cleanup quick and easy in your craft space. The first thing I like to do is make sure I have a place for everything. So you have a place, depending on, what you're creating with, in my case, I have a place for my stamps. I have a place for my enamel dots, embossing folders, everything that I use most often, I have a separate place for. So then I can just quickly put things away where they need to go as I'm cleaning up. You also want to organize in a way that makes sense to you. So I'll use my stamp sets as an example. Down here, I have my stamps organized according to theme. So images and shapes, weather, birthday, that kind of thing. That makes sense to me. Maybe somebody who's on a lot of design teams, it might make more sense to organize according to manufacturer or what you need to be working on for a particular month. There's a lot of videos out there. You can get some ideas, try something, and if it doesn't work for you, kind of arrange it a little bit and make it work for you. So that's just always a really good thing, is just to organize in a way that makes sense to you. Also, over here on my desk, if you have a craft desk or a space that you do most of your crafting, I like to keep all of my most used items close by. So this is the desk I use for card making. So I'm sure to keep my pens, scissors, glue, that kind of thing up here. I have my Copic markers right in front of me because I use Copic markers a lot. In my drawers over here, I have my Memento, all my black inks, my Versamark. These are inks I reach for all the time. So I just want to quickly be able to open a drawer, grab it, and work with it. Right under here, I have my Misty and my scoreboard that I use to make card bases. So I keep that under here so it's easy to reach for. So, depending on what you do, you want to put your most used items close by, so it also makes it easy to put things away. Labeling too is something that I can probably do better at. I need to do some labels over on my in my junk journal supply area, but I have done a pretty good job with labeling over in card making. I have my Alex drawers labeled with embellishments, where I have all my embellishments, sequins, wooden stamps, that kind of thing. All my stamp sets are also labeled according to the category. So, labeling is also really helpful because when you go to put things away, you know exactly where they need to go. Another thing that you may not think about, but I found it to be really helpful, is to have multiple wastebaskets. So I could probably use a third wastebasket. I have one that I kind of switch back and forth from my card desk to this desk over here that I use for other projects. I have a small wastebasket down here, and then I also have a larger wastebasket over here that I empty the small wastebasket into. But it's nice because as you're cleaning up, you can just run around and, you can either take the wastebasket with you and kind of, scoop everything into the wastebasket and then put it into the big one. Or if you've got one at each space, you can just throw everything, make a pile, throw everything in the wastebasket and forget about it. So it's just helpful to have, I know I've also seen people, which I think this would be really nice to have, they cut a hole in their craft desk and actually have the wastebasket underneath the desk. And then all they have to do is kind of like slide all the papers and everything right into the hole, and it goes right into the wastebasket. So I always think those are great. I love to, I've seen those quite a few times in people's craft room tours. And then the last thing that is always good to think about, depending on the size of your craft space, if you have maybe a larger area to work with, it's always nice to have room to move. You don't want to fill everything up with storage containers and drawers and that kind of thing where you can't walk through it and you can't kind of breathe in your room. So I've been tempted a lot of times. I've seen like a really cute bookshelf or something, and I'm thinking, is there a way I could somehow fit it into my craft space? And at this point, no, there's no more room. And I have to keep telling myself, you cannot get that anymore. You don't need any more organizational things. So I like to keep this space over here kind of open so I can walk through this space around my taller desk here is nice to have some open space too, where I can kind of slide a card in. Over here, if I want to look for some junk journal supplies, I've got some room to walk in between the desk and the shelves, so I can kind of, you know, look around and see what I want. So that's always really nice. So that's pretty much it as far as just some quick tips on keeping things organized. I'll put a link below to my full craft room tour, and you can kind of see, you know, how I have things organized kind of on a deeper level. But I thought it would be kind of fun just to show you how I clean up, and how using these tips really helps clean up quickly. It probably took me, I mean, maybe about 10 minutes. I was trying to kind of film it too, so that added a little time onto it. And of course I did speed up the film a little bit, so just to make it a little less boring to watch. But really it took me about 10 minutes to clean all that stuff up. And now I'm ready to get started on some card making projects, which I keep meaning to do, and I just haven't had a chance, but I am planning on starting that this week. So thanks again for joining me today, and I will see you in my next video.